Welcome to the Stop Over Drinking and Start Living podcast, where high-achieving, goal-oriented rebel women come to learn how to live a vibrant and fulfilling life without requiring alcohol to get through it. No labels, no judgments, no saying you'll never drink again. Just real proven methods to help you stop rebelling against yourself with alcohol so you can drink less and do more. I'm your host, Angela Mascenik. Let's dig in. Welcome to episode 391, How to Stop Talking Yourself Out of It When It Gets Uncomfortable. Well, hello. Welcome back to the podcast. It's been 1 week since I became a resident of Portugal, and it's been a week. A lot of amazing things, but a lot of discomfort, and I'm going to talk about that in today's episode. So, in full transparency, and I'm going to put this disclaimer on it before I get into it. This is not medical advice. I am not advising you. I am sharing my own personal story of stopping a medication and how I worked through the discomfort of that. If this relates to you, or if this is you, please talk to your doctor. Okay, so during this whole process of planning to move to Portugal and building the magic house and all these things, I was under quite a bit of stress and was having a lot of anxiety and was having a difficult problem sleeping mostly. I just had so many lists and thoughts, and there was just so much uncertainty, especially around the magic house. Like, I was relying on so many people from afar, contractors and the design team and landlords and their work people that were coming in and installing things and fixing things. And there's a language barrier and time zone differences, and just there was a lot. So I was having some significant anxiety, especially when I was sleeping, with all of these lists, even though I did all of the work that I tell you guys to do, like journaling, managing my mind, feeling my feelings, all of it. Like, it was an overload. And I recognized that I needed some support. So I talked to my doctor and I said, I think I need a little support with a medication. So she prescribed me a low dose of Zoloft to help with the anxiety. And she told me that it was a baby dose. Those were her exact words. And that she would just prescribe me for a temporary acute type scenario. I could take it for 3 months, help me get through this project with the magic house, get the move done, and then come off of it without needing to taper or anything. Those were her exact words. And so I believed her and started taking the medication. It actually really did help right away, pretty much after a couple of weeks. Then I decided, I got through the magic house, got complete. I led my first retreat, things were okay. And so part of it was a little unsure. I don't know if it was because my circumstances changed, and so all of that was complete and I didn't have a lot of that uncertainty in my head anymore, or it was the medication, or it could have been both. So anyway, I was thinking about coming off of it, and I also had decided to walk the Camino trail, which is a pilgrimage trail. It's sort of like a spiritual walk that goes through France, Spain, and Portugal, and there's many routes, and it's been on a bucket list item for me for a long, long time. Well, I had an opportunity, a window where my kids are going to be in sleepaway camp, to walk this Camino trail. It's actually happening in about 10 days. But at the time, I knew that I didn't want to be on any medication, and I wanted to be fully experiencing my emotions and not have anything blocking that. And I had noticed with the medication that I was on that I was feeling great. It definitely worked, and I was definitely having my moments of excitement and love and energy, and I got emotional and all of that. But it kind of dampened my sadness a little bit. And I actually didn't like that, because I have been living fully myself and experiencing all of my emotions for so long. I can tell when I'm missing an emotion. So I would watch movies that were supposed to be really sad and moving, and I wasn't crying. And I don't like that. So I decided to, I was thinking about coming off of it. Well, I forgot to take it for 2 days in a row. And then I thought it was getting very close to the move. I wasn't feeling stress. And I thought it was okay because the doctor told me that I could just stop taking it without tapering. It shouldn't be a big deal. So I decided to come off of it. And this was about 2 weeks before the actual move from North Carolina to Portugal. And so like when you're coming off of this stuff, and again, this is not medical advice, this is just my personal reflection. I do not advise you to stop any medication without talking to your doctor, even if you're on a low dose, because as I'm about to tell you, the side effects were pretty extreme. So a couple days in, I didn't really notice anything. Maybe about 5 days in, I had a brain zap. And I had heard about brain zaps before, and they're very intense. They're very short, maybe like 1 or 2 seconds, but it just felt like an electrical zap basically in my brain. And it was weird. And I kind of, it's like, oh, that must be a side effect of the medication. Well, that was only the first side effect. And then they just started like getting worse as days went on. So I started having extreme stomach problems. Like, I won't get into details, but lots of stomach problems and body aches and fatigue and dizziness and nausea. And I would just have to like lay down because like it was better for me to like lay down and be flat. And like what would happen is like they would come in waves. So like I would feel okay for a couple days, and then I would have a lot of brain zaps, and then my body would hurt, and then I would feel nauseous, and I would be dizzy, and I lost my appetite, and kind of extreme things like that. And so then I would have like a bad day, and then I would be okay for a couple days, and then it might have a couple bad days in a row, and like they really amped up. Like it peaked probably around 2 weeks after I stopped the medication. And I'm just going to pause here in the story of the side effects. And at this point, I knew that I never wanted to go back on it. Like I wasn't thinking, oh, maybe I should start it again, or, like I need it or anything like that. Like I really wasn't having any chatter. My thoughts were, I never want to go through this again. So I was pretty committed to seeing it through. Like I'm like, if I got through 2 weeks, I can keep going. And everything that I started researching, obviously, because my doctor didn't inform me about it, was like everything I was experiencing was normal, has been reported, and it can last a while depending on the dose that you're on. So I felt like, and because of the patterns of it, that I was kind of reaching the peak of the worst of the side effects. And that was about 2 weeks before the actual move. And so I went through the peak of that, and then it did start getting better, thankfully. And I would have 3 or 4 days of not feeling fine, like not having any side effects. And this was before the move, and I was sleeping okay. Well, then we moved. And I think now, knowing what I know, I didn't sleep on the plane. The last day and the last week of saying goodbye to everybody, there was just so many emotions, and there was a little bit more stress of just like getting rid of every single thing out of the apartment that we were renting, and finalizing things, and just last minute stuff that can be stressful. And so we pack up, we get on the plane, we have our pets, we're making the move, and like I didn't sleep on the plane. And sleep was, it's very important in so many ways, but especially when you're coming off a medication like this, to help your body recover. So pretty much as soon as I got here, I noticed that I was having the side effects again. And I was actually, at that point, I decided to take some sleep aid, because just over-the-counter sleep aids, because I knew that sleep was important and I needed to move through these side effects better. And one of the days, I think it was 2 days after we got here, because I was so sleep deprived and I didn't know it, but I was also dehydrated. I was drinking a lot of water, but I was missing important elements, probably because of the stomach issues. I was trying to lay down during the day, and I got up to let the dog in the room, and I fell over because I was so dizzy and I hurt my leg. And I was like, wow, this is really, really intense. And I wish I would have known about some of this stuff. So I got some electrolytes. Thankfully, my new friend brought me this little welcome pack that included Noon electrolytes. And I had one of those and like instantly felt better. It was insane. Anyway, I kept thinking about this Camino walk that I'm doing. And I'm like, gosh, I don't want to be on sleep aids. I want to get through this. I need to get through this. I need to just get myself back to a regular like baseline to understand like where I am. Could it be, like I'm of age, perimenopause, menopause age, right? So like, could it be, my hormones are off? Could it be other things going on? I just need to come off everything in my head. This is what I was telling myself to understand where I was. So a few days ago, I decided to stop taking the sleep aid. And it's a lot. Like, it's super hot. And our individual apartment, not the Magic House, but our apartment does not have air conditioning in our bedroom. And it's been, high 90s here. And, it's just uncomfortable, as you can imagine, right? So I just wanted to talk about on the podcast today about how I moved through the discomfort of that and helping you understand that you can move through the temporary discomfort of not drinking when you've decided not to. So this is about the sleep aid. And I know that a lot of people, a lot of women who drink regularly are scared of losing sleep when they stop or take a break because they know what it feels like to not sleep. And yes, that is a thing. It's very common, actually, especially women who are under a lot of stress and who have a lot of things going on, and they're starting this journey and they don't know how to like do all the things holistically and, apply all the tools all the time. And so they've been using wine to quiet their brains at night and to calm down and to be able to fall asleep. It's not restful sleep, by the way. It's kind of like a drug-induced sleep. And of course, that can be addicting around the sleep. Not only is you're using alcohol to relax at the end of the day and to quiet down your mind, which is where we get addicted to it. Your brain gets used to that. Your body gets used to that. But also to sort of put us into a slumber. And you don't get the deep sleep that you would without that, but it kind of tricks your body into shutting down and being quiet, and you fall asleep without a lot of drama. And like, there's not a lot of like laying there with all of those thoughts and feelings going on and your mind racing. So anyway, getting back to the sleep part, I decided to not take any sleep medication. And so I want to talk about this idea of like locking in. So when I talk about locking in, some people might recall that like gritting your teeth or white-knuckling or getting through it. And it wasn't like that. It was just a decision that I made that I was not going to use a medication to sleep anymore. And that I wanted to get back to my body being in its natural state without any drugs on its system before I go do this very physical and challenging experience and be able to sleep in uncomfortable situations and move through that without any medication or drugs. So I made the decision to not take anything. And I knew that it would be uncomfortable, right? So like the decision was made first. I'm not going to take any sleep medication. I want to get back to more of like my ground zero, my homeostasis, my baseline. This is the same decision that you're making to not drink, right? I am not going to drink. I don't know if it's a 30-day break for you, or maybe it's just this week, or maybe you've decided today that you're not going to drink, right? So it's just a decision. And last week I talked about the power of decision. You make the decision, you make it one time, and then you just have to work through it. You have to learn how to and apply not giving in when the discomfort strikes. So I decided to do that. And I think that was probably a morning decision on that day. And then I went through the day, and I was actually pretty surprised that I wasn't that tired during the day. And even though I hadn't been sleeping well, even with the sleep aids. And so it was time for bed. And I recognized that I wasn't tired. It was at like 10 p.m. and I still wasn't tired. And so I was just like laying there, and I was really trying not to engage with any technology. And eventually I put in like a podcast just to have something to engage with. And I wasn't having like stressful thoughts or anything. I just wasn't tired. And I was able to kind of doze off at around 2 a.m. And then I woke up at like 6:30 or 7. but it was very in and out and lots of tossing and turning and the heat and all the things. And so I'm like, okay, I got through one night. That was really difficult. And it, of course, as I was laying there and it was getting later and later and later, in my head, my thoughts were, I could take a sleep aid. Now would be the time to take the sleep aid. If I don't take it now and I wait, it's going to be really hard in the morning. And I decided not to engage with those thoughts. I noticed that they were there. I recognized that my brain had wanted that ultimate comfort. It wanted an escape from feeling tortured and not sleeping, and knew that there was an easy out for that. And I recognized those thoughts when they came in and said, no, you've decided to get through this. This is temporary. This is temporary. This is temporary. And that thought really helped me get through. Also, when I was having that big bad day of being really dizzy and the day I fell, I had to sit there and allow how I felt. That was also using all of the skills that I had that I've learned over the years, and I learned them from the beginning of not drinking. So when you feel really bad physically, and of course your brain wants you to find relief. It's literally programmed for you to find pleasure and save energy so you can stay alive. And so of course your brain's going to offer you solutions to that, right? It could be a sleep aid. It could be caffeine. It could be anything. It could be alcohol. It could be food. It could be scrolling. All of those things, of course, your brain is going to offer that to you in that moment. And if you can remember that this won't last forever, it's huge. It is temporary. The discomfort that you're feeling right now is temporary. Getting back to that day that it was probably one of the worst days of the side effects, I had to say, it's okay that I'm feeling this right now. You aren't feeling well. It's okay that you lay here. It's okay. It's okay. And just repeating some of those things to myself really does help, because my brain wants to argue with me, wants to tell me I shouldn't be feeling that way, that I should get up and do something about it, that, I got to set the stage for my habits and blah, 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 right? Like put pressure on myself where I don't need to be put pressure on. But just allowing myself to feel the way I did, knowing that it was going to be temporary and that I will feel better again soon, really helped me move through that and make that discomfort so much more bearable and tolerable. So getting back to the first night of not having the sleep aid and waking up in the morning and, okay, I got through it. And then having a pretty normal day the next day. And then, nighttime comes around and, of course my brain is going to offer me ideas and solutions and to help me feel better. Okay. So like when that happens and my brain's like, you could take a sleep aid, you could just take a little melatonin, you could pack melatonin for this walk. So it's not a big deal. You could take sleep aids with you and just take them every night. So you don't have to do this. Right. So it was like projecting my discomfort in the future and trying to come up with a solution for me feeling better now. So like it knew that I was trying to do something that was uncomfortable so that I would be more comfortable in the future. Like my brain knew that that was the intent. The intent, remember, was for me to come off the sleep aid now so that I wouldn't be reliant on anything and be fully present without needing anything on this walk. And so it was trying to trick me into taking something now and letting me know that it was okay if I took it on this walk. I did not engage with those thoughts. I just recognized them. And I kept saying, this is going to be temporary. This will not last forever. You will get through this. And just allowing that discomfort to be there, allowing that discomfort to be there. That second night, I can't remember. I don't think I had any caffeine in the afternoon, but I was trying to be conscious of that as well. But I did have chocolate ice cream, which is not unusual for me. And it's really good here. So I had some really awesome chocolate ice cream and I enjoyed that. And I probably had it even way later than I normally would. It was probably like 8:30 or 9. And it just stays lighter here. And there's just so much more of a vibrancy here in the evening, and we're in the city. And so I'm like naturally staying up later anyway than I normally would in North Carolina. So that night was also pretty rough. And same thing, like I knew that like turning on a podcast or something like that earlier in the evening helped me. So I tried that earlier than 2 a.m. the second night, and just pretty much had to decide to just like turn on something that would not shut off all night. And I just was kind of like in and out of it all night, but no drugs, no scrolling, nothing like that. And woke up, got up, like was figured out that I didn't think I was able to go back to sleep after like 5:45, which was great with me. And I thought, if I get up now, I'll go to bed earlier. And so I got up, and yesterday actually had a really awesome day, and I recognized, I learned something. So this is the same process for you guys as you're going through following your drink plan or not drinking, right? I recognize, like, what would I do differently next time? Oh, yeah, I really got to watch my caffeine. Yes, there's caffeine in chocolate. So no coffee afternoon, and we're not doing chocolate in the evening. And so I made sure we had a different type of dessert. It was a lemon gelato instead of chocolate that we had. And I was surprised at my energy that I had yesterday and how good I felt. Like I didn't have any big waves of being tired or anything like that. So, and I noticed that around 8, I was starting to feel tired. I'm like, this is good. So I'm going to make a goal. Like, I want to be asleep by 10. And so went through my evening routine, didn't have any chocolate. Of course, my mind came in again with, you could take a sleep aid and you don't have to worry about it. But it was quieter. And because I noticed that I was tired, I'm like, okay, this is working. See, like, this is working. You're doing it. It is temporary. And so I had some wins because I could tell the difference. There wasn't as much chatter, and I was feeling the tiredness a little bit early. So I found a podcast to listen to. Actually, I downloaded a new book that I was interested in, and I just, as soon as I was feeling sleepy, I turned everything off. I started the book, and last night was much, much better. I did toss and turn. I ended up like turning off the book at 2 a.m. and taking my earphones out, and then the rest of the night was fine. I woke up when my husband woke up about 5:45 and started my day. So I was really, really happy about that. And then I wanted to come on and share this because I think it's so helpful to understand the mindset that you need to have and how not giving in to those brain thoughts in the moment is what's going to help you get through. And sometimes you just have to rip the Band-Aid and like try to give yourself multiple days of not drinking or not taking the sleep aid or whatever it is, and understand that yes, it's going to be uncomfortable and it's going to be temporary. You will move through this as long as you don't give in. It will get better, and sometimes it does not take that long. So this will be day 3 or 4 now without the sleep aid. And I imagine, because I woke up earlier now for a second day in a row and I'm back into more of a normal routine for myself, that tonight will be even better. I don't know, maybe it won't be, but I'm open to it being uncomfortable because, first of all, like, I know I'm not going to die. I know that I can rest if I need to rest. That being tired really isn't a problem. I can be tired. Like, it's not a death sentence. Getting some movement, getting some fresh air, fueling my body with some good food, drinking enough water, getting those basic elements in, for me helps with tiredness, and also coffee in the morning. So all of that to say is, if you can change your mindset and lock into knowing that something's going to be uncomfortable, and that's okay, right? Your body is used to something. It's used to having the glass of wine at night to sleep. It's used to numbing out at the end of the day. And when you decide to change that and stop it, you will go through some days of being just like uncomfortable. You might not sleep very well. And if you stick with it and lock in, I am not giving into this. I am going to allow this discomfort. This is temporary. Let me breathe through this. Let me settle into this. This is okay. I'm okay. And you allow what you're feeling in the moment to be there and to be present and to comfort yourself with, like, you've got this. This is temporary. Remember, this will get better. This will get better. This is temporary. Before you know it, you'll be on the other side of it. And for me, and I know I've shared this before, but like for me, I had 3 or 4 social situations without drinking that I knew that that was the case. Like, it was uncomfortable. I locked in. I welcomed that discomfort. And then after that, it really wasn't that uncomfortable anymore. And so I want this for you. I know that it's very frustrating when you say you're going to do something in the morning and then you talk yourself out of it as soon as it becomes uncomfortable. I 100% get it. And this is a skill. Like, if I didn't stop drinking and work through this and have 8 years under my belt of learning how to be uncomfortable and expanding my discomfort and up leveling things and really being with my feelings and understanding myself, I don't know that it would have been this easy for me right now. So I don't want to paint a picture like, oh yeah, I can just stop doing this, it's going to be easy. It was easier for me the past few days to move through this because of all of the times I've practiced being uncomfortable before, and how I know how to manage my mind when those urges to seek the comfort comes in. So I don't want you to think that like, oh, this is just a walk in the clouds. It's definitely a challenge, and it's easier for me because I'm well practiced at it. And so I want you to think about changing your drinking and following through on the thing that you say you're going to do in the morning, and being willing to be uncomfortable at the end of it as you are building a skill. This pays off way more than the drinking thing will pass eventually. Like, if you can work through these uncomfortable moments, right, and work on stuff and get on the other side of it, you will have that skill for the rest of your life. I know that I've talked about this before, but I wouldn't be sitting in the magic house right now had I not had that skill. My family and I would not have moved to Portugal. I would not be walking the Camino trail and carrying my stuff for 2 weeks, walking about 15 miles a day. Okay, like, I wouldn't have done a quarter of the things that I've shared with you over the years had I not learned the skill of allowing discomfort. It is a skill worth practicing. It's a skill that keeps on paying off in my life, and I'm so, so thankful for it. So do whatever you can to practice that skill. If there are other little discomforts that you can practice, before the urge hits, before your mind kicks in with the chatter, do it. So maybe that's having one less cup of coffee. Maybe that's getting out of bed earlier instead of hitting the snooze button. Like, what are the little things that you can practice being uncomfortable with, so that when the time it actually matters the most, and that's to not drink or to stick to your drink plan, you have some practice doing that. Okay. So I want you to consider doing that. And there's one more thing that I want to talk about. Let me look in my notebook here before I forget. Okay. So one thing I think I forgot to mention is, I talk all the time about having your drink plan. Making that decision comes first, right? So the decision to not drink and making your strategy for the day of how you're going to do that. If you're in a live AF or you're working with me in some other capacity, you have a worksheet that says, what are the 3 things I'm going to do today to ensure that this happens, right? You are deciding how to work through that discomfort and how you're going to support yourself before you're in the discomfort. So just like me, I knew the best strategy was to not decide to take the sleeping medication at 3:00 in the morning, right? I decided to not do that ahead of time. And I decided ahead of time that I might need to listen to a podcast. So I got ready for that. I decided ahead of time to not drink caffeine or eat chocolate, right? So you need to decide ahead of time before the discomfort comes in what you're going to do. Like, how are you going to handle that? You decide once, again, reiterating, you make that decision what you are not going to do. So that's, for most of you, not drink. And then how are you going to handle that at 5, 6, 7, 8 p.m. when those urges come in and when the thoughts come in? You need to have some of that strategy figured out ahead of time. So write those down in the morning, and then you reference back to it when the urge, you've already locked in. You are not changing your mind. I need to allow my discomfort. Okay? What are you going to say to yourself in the moment? This is what I expected. This is temporary. I'm recalibrating. I'm learning how to expand my discomfort zone. I'm not going to die. This is temporary. I'm recalibrating. I'm allowed to be uncomfortable. This is what it takes. This is temporary. Okay, like if you have to chant that over and over and over again, it's okay. the other side of that discomfort, you will start to feel better. Okay, like probably the next day you'll wake up, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I didn't drink tonight. You'll get a little fuel, you'll get a little dopamine kick for honoring that. You're going to go do it again tonight. And then that'll be a little bit less suffering, still uncomfortable. Get into day 3. Keep going, especially for a lot of you guys that are maybe doing a dry July right now. Maybe you're starting the transformation program. Maybe you're really trying to work through it in a live AF. Whatever your situation is, it does get easier, I promise. And you're giving yourself a skill that you can keep using for the rest of your life that will come in very handy when you need it, like me, if you're cupping up your medications. All right, my friends, I hope this helps. I'd love to hear from you. Also, I just updated my website. I'm very excited about it. I'd love it if you'd go look at it. Click through, check out all the menus, click on all the links. Maybe you want to sign up for something while you're over there. But I'd love for you to go have a look at it. It's AngelaMascenik.com. There's new photography over there. I'm pretty excited about it, and I'd love for you to go check it out as well. All right, my friends. Oh, also the transformation program is now full. We have started, so I am accepting applications for the next round. We are going to do it again. I actually really, really love this program. I love having continuity with my clients, going on the deeper journey with them, helping them consistently every week, and then for them to get to know each other and us to have this very cohesive cohort. And the transformation program includes a trip to the Magic House. So if you're interested in doing that with me and again and being in the next cohort, you can go, we'll put the link in the show notes. You can see it on my website as well. But you can submit an application to join the next round. It'll probably start in the fall, and the retreat will probably be in late February, early March. None of the dates have been finalized yet. We're going to be gathering the applications again, and we've got some time, but I just wanted to let you know that. Also, there's only one spot left for the Founders Retreat opportunity at the Magic House. The rest of it's been sold out. It's unbelievable. So the last opportunity to get the discount to come to the retreat and to be a part of the Founders Circle is in April 2027. I'll put the link in the show notes, but there's one spot in a shared room left. It's $3,000, 6 nights, 7 days, all inclusive, all the things. It's a no-brainer. If you've been thinking about coming to the Magic House, use this as a little push that you need. You will do things here that you will never find on TripAdvisor. There's nothing here that you can sign up by just like taking a trip to Portugal. It is a very unique and special and healing experience that will show you things about yourself that you wish you have known your whole life. You will have so much fun. You will feel so good and eat the most amazing food and see the most beautiful things and feel so connected and alive. So go grab that last spot. I can't wait to find out who's been like just waiting to sign up and like on the edge, and then who grabs that last spot. It's such a great group of people coming in April as well. So if you have any questions, let me know, but this is it. And then I'm going to be creating more retreats, and I'm raising my prices, and of course it's still going to be amazing. You should still come too, but if you want to take advantage of that discounted price, you've got one chance left. All right, my friends, I can't wait to talk to you again soon, and go practice being uncomfortable. Okay, bye.